was incredible. Red carpets, Hollywood parties, and private jets, and fans would beg for my autograph. And my parents were super supportive. That is, until they started getting calls from an unknown number threatening to kidnap me.
I'm Michaela's biggest fan, and I want her all to myself. No one will ever see her again.
So, my life changed forever when I was on the set of my latest movie with my parents, my older sister Jackie, and her boyfriend Ethan, who worshipped the ground she walked on. That night, filming had just finished, and I needed to run back to my trailer. I'll be right back. I need to get my backpack.
Okay, honey, but hurry back so we can get home. It's really late.
I'll go with you, Mick. But when the door opened, a masked figure jumped out of the darkness and grabbed my arm. Jackie smashed a chair over his head, and we both ran out. The police came, but they couldn't find a trace of the attacker. When we got home, we had a family meeting.
I think Michaela needs to stop acting. It's just too dangerous.
I agree. It's time she had a normal life. And just like that, my acting career was over. I was devastated. Sorry, I'm being rude. I'm Michaela, and I never would have guessed that 5 years after that psycho fan ruined my life, I would get a second chance. But before that, please hit like and subscribe. I had a pretty normal life those years as a teenager. I mean, my parents owned a top law firm, so we were really rich and lived in a mansion on a canal with a huge yacht parked in our backyard. But I went to a regular high school, and everyone treated me like any other really pretty girl. That is, except for Marco, my rich, gorgeous, but very possessive boyfriend. He was the mayor's son, so he considered himself a celebrity. One night, when we were partying on my family's yacht, a speedboat pulled up and a very handsome man yelled my name.
Michaela! Michaela!
Marco immediately got jealous and jumped in front of me.
What do you want, creep? Michaela, it's me, Kevin, your old agent.
I pushed past Marco and jumped down onto the speedboat.
I have incredible news. You just got an offer for the lead role in the biggest new action franchise of the decade.
Wait, what? Me? I haven't acted in 5 years.
The director was a huge fan of yours and wrote the part especially for you.
I tried to speak, but I couldn't find the words. Unfortunately, Marco jumped onto the boat and found some.
She's not interested, so why don't you just buzz off?
I was furious and shoved him overboard. Don't speak for me. I've been dreaming about this for years. I'll take it.
Then go find a new boyfriend.
He always threw a tantrum when I didn't do exactly what he wanted, but he came crawling back to apologize. When word got out that I was going to be the lead in the big new action movie, all the magazines wanted to interview me. The paparazzi fought to take my picture, and invites to the big Hollywood party started piling up. I was a star again, and I couldn't be happier. But then one night, I looked out my window and nearly froze in terror. Standing outside was the masked figure who tried to kidnap me. He pointed right at me. I screamed, but when my parents ran into the room, he was gone. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number said, "I'm coming to get you, Michaela. Your biggest fan." The next day, we had a family meeting. Actually, it was more like an intervention. My older sister Jackie was there with Ethan, who was still as obsessed with her as he was before. She was 4 years older than me, but we were still close. My parents even called Marco. "Michaela, you can't risk doing this movie. It's too dangerous. Come on, honey. Rub my shoulders harder."
But my hands are getting tired.
Do you want me to be stressed? Marco, come on, back me up here. You know how important this is to me.
Babes, I agree with your sister. Besides, why do you need to act when you've got me?
Sweetheart, your mother and I want you to call the director and tell him you aren't going to take the role. It's not worth it to risk your life.
I'm not giving up on my dream again because of one insane fan. I'm 17 now. I can defend myself. But my parents weren't buying it, and I was still a minor, so if they wanted me to quit, I had no choice. I had to do something fast. I hired a bodyguard.
What?
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 What? It just came out, but it worked. My parents agreed to let me keep the role. Only they wanted to meet my new bodyguard who didn't exist. So now I had to find one, and fast. I was in a full-on panic. There was no way I was gonna have some sunglasses-wearing, ultra-serious police FBI soldier guy following me around everywhere I went, telling me what to do. And then I had a brilliant idea. Just as I was going to play a teenage secret agent in a movie, I would hire an actor to play my bodyguard. I ran to a local acting studio and looked in the window. There, sitting in the back of the room, I saw him, my pretend bodyguard. He was tall, handsome, and looked like a complete jerk. Perfect! I hired him on the spot. His name was Jasper, and it turns out he was as rude and arrogant as he looked.
Sure, I'll be your bodyguard, but I want to be paid up front.
Sure, no problem.
And since I'm an incredible actor, I don't want any advice or notes from you on how to play the part. Understood?
Wow, okay, whatever. But we have to go right now and convince my parents that you're actually a bodyguard and not some out-of-work actor playing one, okay?
Easy peasy.
I took him to Armani and bought him a suit and sunglasses. When he stepped out of the dressing room, he looked exactly like a bodyguard and also very, very hot. I took him home to meet everyone. I was terrified. If they discovered the truth, my dream was as good as dead. Not to mention the fact that I would be grounded for the next year. Everyone, I want you to meet Jasper, my bodyguard. It's nice to meet you, Jasper.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Okay, he's believable. That's good.
Are you confident you can protect our daughter from this kidnapper?
Kidnapper?
Crap, I forgot to mention that part. That's it. Party's over. Stick a fork in me.
I eat kidnappers for breakfast, sir.
Wow, impressive rebound. Listen, Mick, even with Jasper protecting you, I think it's still too dangerous.
She's in good hands. Nothing will happen to her as long as I'm around.
But Marco wasn't happy. He really wouldn't be when he saw the specimen that I just brought home.
How come you never told me you hired a bodyguard? I mean, you never even mentioned it. It's like you just met him today.
Today? Don't be ridiculous. And then I did what I knew would calm Marco down. I wrapped my arms around him and told him how amazing he was. You're just so protective. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to be worried.
Well, I guess I understand.
Just when I thought we made it, I saw a big roach crawl across the floor. Jasper apparently saw it too, because he screamed and jumped on the couch. Everyone just stared at him. I thought fast and copied him. That's what Jasper taught me to do if I saw the kidnapper. It would alert everyone around me.
Good job, Michaela, just like I taught you.
everyone seemed to buy it, except for Marco. He just stared at Jasper as if he knew something was off, which there clearly was. Okay, well, Jasper and I need to run. I have meetings with the costume designer, wardrobe, and fighting coach, and he needs to be there to protect me. Jasper and I argued the entire day. While I was getting fitted for my wardrobe, I can't believe you didn't tell me that you were afraid of tiny insects.
I can't believe you didn't tell me you were being hunted by an actual kidnapper.
While I was doing a camera test in the studio.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
For what? Standing around doing nothing? The police will probably catch the guy very soon, and you and I will never have to see each other again.
I can't wait for that.
Me neither. While I was training with the fighting coach. What happens if the kidnapper shows up? Are you gonna scream and jump on a couch? Maybe you should be training here with me.
I'm not a real bodyguard. I'm an actor. If you wanted a person who could actually protect you, you should have hired one.
I wasn't paying attention, and my fighting coach accidentally kicked me in the face. As I fell backward, Jasper dove and caught me before my head hit the floor. For a moment, we looked into each other's eyes before he dropped me.
That's gonna cost you extra.
Over the next couple of weeks at school, Jasper followed me around, flirting with all the girls. I had to pull him aside and remind him that he was on the clock. Can you please act like my bodyguard and not some hormone-overloaded teenager?
I told you no acting notes.
Well, maybe if you started acting, I wouldn't have to give you notes.
How about I quit right now and then you won't have to worry about it?
To keep up appearances, I even had him come out on dates with me and Marco, whether it was a picnic in the park, go-kart racing, or solving an escape room.
I can't take this anymore, Michaela. He's with us everywhere we go.
Yeah, because he's my bodyguard, duh.
A bodyguard who's terrified of bugs? I am not terrified of bugs. Oh yeah? How about when you screamed when the bee landed on you on the roller coaster? Or the crazy dance you did when the caterpillar crawled on your leg at the park? Or when you dove into the water when the dragonfly flew by our boat on the lake?
Leave him alone, Marco. I hired him to protect me from people, not insects.
There's something fishy going on here, and I don't think you're telling me or your family the truth.
And then he stormed off. He was right, and I felt terrible. Jasper, I'm a terrible person. Maybe this isn't worth it. I should just give up this stupid role. It's not worth deceiving the people I care about most. All they want is for me to be safe.
If you want my opinion, Marco is a jerk. He acts like you're his property and your parents are being selfish. This is your dream.
I turned to Jasper and just exploded. No, I don't want your stupid opinion. This job is a piece of cake, and you haven't taken it seriously for 1 second. You call yourself an actor? Ha! You couldn't act your way out of a paper bag. I'm done with this, and I'm done with you. You're fired. Jasper didn't say anything, and he always had a response. He actually looked hurt. He just nodded and walked away. I started feeling guilty, but I knew that he deserved it. I mean, he did, right? How dare he insult my boyfriend and my family? That night, my sister Jackie took me out to dinner. I decided to come clean and tell her the truth. I can't believe Jasper was an actor. He had me fooled. He did? Totally. But now that you mention it, he's too handsome to be a bodyguard. Wowzer. But he's definitely a good actor. I hope he gets his big break someday. Yeah, me too. Just don't tell Mom and Dad about this, okay? I'm supposed to sign the contract for the role tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna tell the director that I'm turning it down. I think that's smart, Michaela. That crazy fan is still out there, and he left you alone after you quit acting the first time. You're right. I'm gonna sleep on it tonight and then make my final decision in the morning. Maybe I'm just not meant to be on the big screen. I hugged her and went home. I was about to give up on my dream for the second time, but I was doing it for the people I loved most. That night, I woke up to the sound of something hitting my window. I looked outside, but nobody was there. I'm not afraid of you! And then a rock hit the window, cracking the glass. All the emotions I was feeling came boiling up, and I flew into a rage. I grabbed my tennis racket, ran down the stairs, and burst outside. Do you want a piece of me? Come on! I'm right here! I stood there, ready to crush anybody that came at me. Then all of a sudden, the masked figure stepped out of the darkness. I froze in panic. The racket fell out of my hand. Then I turned and saw a second masked figure behind me. Before I could scream, someone sprinted from the darkness and tackled the one in front of me. The hero looked up at me. It was Jasper. The other masked figure tried to run, but Jasper grabbed the tennis racket and threw it. It spun through the air and hit the figure in the head, causing him to run right into a tree and fall backward unconscious.
Are you okay?
Yes, but how? I fired you and said those horrible things.
I know, but I was worried about you, so I've been keeping watch from a distance.
And then Jasper pulled the hood off the figure. It was Ethan. I was speechless. Ethan spilled the beans that Jackie was behind the crazy kidnapper fan scheme and the trailer incident. When Jackie and I went to my trailer that day, Ethan snuck away, put on the mask, and went in the back door. Jackie was waiting in her car outside, but came running into the yard when Ethan started yelling her name. Jackie, how could you? Since you were a kid, you got all the attention. Michaela is so amazing. Michaela is so talented. Michaela is so beautiful. Nobody ever paid attention to me. I understand. Wait, you do? That day you came to set, when Ethan pretended to be my crazed fan, that was your 16th birthday. Nobody even remembered. You should have had a big party that day, but instead you were there on my set for my movie with everyone celebrating me. You got robbed of your childhood so I could have mine. I don't blame you for being angry. I would be too. Are you forgiving me after everything I've done to you? Yes, you're still my big sister and I love you. And then she burst out in tears and grabbed me into the tightest hug I've ever had. And then the second figure stood up, grabbing his head. It was Marco.
Ouch.
And like always, he expected my forgiveness.
Come on, babe. You forgave Jackie, so you need to forgive me.
I need to forgive you?
Yes, you need to forgive me. I love you. You know that.
Jasper is right. You just love me as long as you can control me. I turned to my hero, Jasper. Now it's my turn. Can you...
After you forgave Jackie and your parents, how could I not forgive you?
That is, until Marco burst out in tears and tried to run off, but he tripped and ran into the tree, knocking himself out again. I signed my contract and spent the next few months filming with the most incredible co-star anyone could ask for. I was able to convince the director to audition Jasper for the role, and he loved him. The movie was a huge hit, and Jasper and I became the most talked about Hollywood couple in town. 3 sequels, and 5 years later, we got married, and Jackie was my maid of honor.